One thing with kʷilstn is coolest, whenever you're doing fixing yourself up to prepare yourself for your life, like in a ceremony, especially if you're struggling and then you go through the sweat ceremonies. You feel sappy can the coolest. Even if it's quant, nice in cha. Oh, go can go tune master, go just the hot up tape. kʷilstn من عب kʷilstn والفوت لكن استويلها سبوس يمكن kʷilstn وما تقيقات كسكات السبينكس كما تأسر سبينك نسيبت من جاتي أثيات خلقات كنت kʷilstn kʷilstn كنت لخيرم بنيتي ولا يستيد سكيات خمينكس اللي يستخدم كواليتي يستيقو خلا في يستخدم كواليتي نخمينك اللي نخمينك لوتيكس يكسخوي من بي يسقال سبوس اللي هي كان kʷilstn من عبول كان نخاخ عبوس يعني أمريمستن ورمنتم شالخمنتم أمريمستن تيخدتم أمريمستن تستيقنم أمريمستن يكورمنتم أخي عند وأخي تجي خيل وأخي هو يكورمني استيقنم دخوا أمريمستن هاي تخي يسكو كويل واللي بون هي كويا يسكورمستم تخي ممكن يسكا لوسم واللي هو يستكتك تخويل كويل واللي بون واللي يستكتك تخويل واللي تجي خيل هي تجي خيل جوتلو هي كولمن قلت لوتاك السويت نعم يفيت متى سقيلت قلت مسا سقيلت قلت لوتني هاك السويت قلت قلت تلتي تلتي إيميلس لفيك السويت تلتي ليس كوكر أبلغ نعم كنت نابت الكابول اللي هي يسخوب تلخت يسكستالت نعم يسكيت شوتي يسكوي في كوات هو أمريمستنيك الفيكلات سكيت في نقصة ميستيكون أبتدي سكيت هليت سويت شوتي هي كلمن تكون عيبول لا سقيلت كالفستويل خيك نتني هاك سكيت نعم وذا هي ويتوخي تعلقتن تقول مستلخ نقول ذا هيدا هو تمستني تعلقتن يقول من دميات خلقالت انت هي يحكو نبكو kʷilstn ما هنا تلخت لخب نبكو سيوسلخ نقصوسلخ then quite seriously the mountain. You should teach us some sweat songs. It's what Lut can't do it. How are we supposed to learn if you don't teach us? He says, no. If you want to learn sweat house songs, you gotta come to the sweat house and be inside. That's where you learn. Those songs don't belong outside. They're for the inside, the lodge, inside the kʷilstn. He says, you don't teach people them songs outside. He Ruta Haslax Mayamel Kamukan Ilch, Lani Hutsi kʷilstn. Hima Hast. So he is Kurus. He is Tlachab, Tlachab. Lani Hut Kun Usul Kuyayam. He is I am. As Cholam kʷilstn kan fitums instruments kulalo kulhastuil tlalan kelpahamen as pohus he total he quit luta has drugs kolumna kʷilstn chocolate lala and lahab. He feels as he luta quach spoos atlan kelpahamen drugs kolumna kʷilstn total ha kolumna siul Childhood Altel Siul. Nacham Ludil kʷilstn. Zum kviltstat los. Zum pin Stul hastat los. Nicht mehr dazu kommt der Hast. Und is my eisig kvilstn Itali ha. Shortly, and Dihui kʷilstn. Not when the Kintak stood a high in China kʷilstn. He couldn't buy only was school. Now, Tut and Chutnikel kʷilstn. And we had equal when we Tut and Chutney kʷilstn. And we had Tut and Tickle. Zo'n man zei knaps. Gist, maar goed gast in kʷilstn. Ik hield dat toetlige hield dat we gaan toeten. Zo'n man ik hield goed. So it's kʷilstn tinta hosik siul. You want that kin. Daarom klik siul. So it's he can chutn siul. He can chutn kʷilstn. Was aan die kwit chutl en on gwinat nog chutl het kan skut ten Siuplan it have what was left. What was chocolate and chocolate? It's ham that she can siul. If you kvilstn. It is different job. The current kvilstn that's going to good done at least that's good. Still up. So that job Heitland Eatle, what they go team to get still up. Is to up. If you would let's great and that's good done. If you would kvilstn. kʷilstn wala kukrast wala as limtum nami sqalxalt is kukrast. Atleta that is hui sqalxalt. Wilson kamikens lita that's jachte kʷilstn. If you sapi strutlich sapi ratla strutlich nitla kʷilstn that's kūrsteikn apsats kan fits. So kamisi gast that's kalxtan or naplet kahupanil skala listen to quats skalni I وهاش تقول قلتم تاريخ وتاريخيات and أخاتك ما هيك السقيل أنون كنا نلوتك راك شويتكم نمكا كنك سوياك تشكولتان مسلم تليوا يكون كونتك وسقيلو منكم بيستيم ميبنون نخم تكتنتيم بيجلسي تشكولتم تشكولتكم Lutsen Kalauman. I guess the teaching of the ceremonies or whatever ceremony is meant for our people. It's not meant for the non-native. It's not meant to make money off. It's not meant to, for that. That's why the old people never like to talk too much to young people, because they want to profit something out of it, make a profit. The bad thing about that profit is it only comes once. Then it becomes what happens after that profit comes out, or that teaching. You profit once and then they put a C on it. And then you no longer own it. That's why I don't want what I teach, to be, I don't want them to put a copyright on it. And it belongs to us people, it goes still. If you love your people, then that's all that matters to me. But I don't ever hope you don't sell us out like, there's some things you can talk about, but there are some things that matter to me. When I first took up linguistics, I was afraid that I sold out my people. So you have to give up my language and have it written down on paper. I don't want that to happen to us. The language is always going to be ours. And that's why when you learn the language, you got to remember, you're not just learning the language, you're learning the law of what comes from our people. They put a law on us, told us that we have to protect what is ours. We're not stingy people, we just protected. We gave, and look what happened to us. We lost a lot of our rights because of what we gave. We allowed people to live in our territory, and what had happened? Our land was taken away. So things like that you think about. That's why our people are upset and angered. That's why they act the way they do. The old people especially. You gotta love your people 150%. Not 100%, 150, even 200%. You gotta love them more than anything to protect their right of their kʷilstn, their culture, their everything. That's why we don't talk about these things. And I hope it's not put on in books. Some things you put on books, but you shouldn't put it out there. You know, some things don't belong in books. Maybe they're okay in archives and put them away for something, but there's some things that really you don't want to put out there. That's the fear of our people's culture. Some people I don't trust totally. I can tell you that right now. But the kʷilstn chutumstin. I think he is school touch kʷilstn chutumstin is kēla. Ik wil daar moesten we met zien. Rutaks. Some people are loud, too loud. They don't have a discipline of the importance of our people. The old people used to fear the light-skinned people because they don't know which way they're thinking. Are you going for the scale-up or are you going for the summer? You're in your thoughts. That's the most important thing that you got to learn about. You have to ask yourself if you're in that place. You know, like in my family, right up to the now, all scale bloodlines in my veins. And the reason that I talk like this is because this is how the old folks were talking. They were afraid. There was a time in the council meetings where they wouldn't even allow the half-breed to speak because of the fear they had for their culture. That's the thing about life. That's something you're going to learn about from me. That's how they felt. They were afraid. There's so much fear in the people a long time ago. They weren't even allowed to talk. There's some tribes, any more than 5 people, you had a 6th person, you're talking against the government and you get jailed for it. So when people had to visit, they had to visit in 5s, in groups of 5. And then when the police and the priest came up and said, hey, you guys are all gathering here. You must be having some kind of a ceremony. They said, no, we're visiting each other. You told us we're not allowed to have more than 5 people in a group. So we're visiting one another, and every once in a while we'll trade off and visit. And that's how it was. They come into our land and then they tell us how we should visit. That's how it was. Exactly. If he hasn't, his schools is so happy. So there's so much more than about culture that you will learn. And the fear of it. That's just the way that the fear of it is I guess the fear is the loss of culture, the loss of language, and how people are thinking about the land, the issue of the land. There's more to kʷilstn than just the language. It concerns the land and all living things, and all things in life that we live. That's what kʷilstn is about. It's just not talking. It's just not conversations. There's more to it. Lutik machis maichtu, lutik machis is mild. For kʷilstn, ja nak ulamentet and hultentet. Is nog kʷilstn. If you hadn't it's mysticism. Lutik mach. Ja, kʷilstn is goed op mist. Smip non is hoogst is goed